In the year 2187, reading was almost unnecessary. Every surface spoke. The walls of your home could read anything to you, the windows, the inside of your eyelids if you wanted. The city had not needed anyone to read for themselves in 40 years, which made it easier for Miriam to keep her secret. Because nobody checks what you can do when the world does it for you. 67 years. She had hidden it from her husband, from her children, from her granddaughter who brought home books before she was old enough to know that Miriam never read them. 67 years of a secret that had no malice in it, only shame, only the quiet terror of being found out. When Miriam was 67, her granddaughter Yara brought home a learning note, a small device, round, soft-edged. It glowed green when it was waiting. It was designed for children between the ages of 4 and 8. Yara left it on the kitchen table and forgot about it. The next morning, Miriam waited until the house was empty, until Yara had left for school and the rooms were completely still. She sat down at the table. She put both hands flat on her knees, and she spoke to the device, for the first time in her 67 years of life, out loud, to something that would not judge her, would not look at her differently, would not need to know why. She said, "I don't know how to read." The device glowed green and said gently, "That's okay. Let's start." The node was patient in a way no human being had ever been with Miriam about anything. It never sighed, never glanced at the time, never made her feel like a problem to be managed. It simply waited for as long as she needed and started over as many times as she asked. She learned the alphabet in 11 days, 26 symbols she had spent 67 years looking past. On the 12th day, a Wednesday morning, cereal on the table, Yara already gone, Miriam picked up a cardboard box, an ordinary cereal box, and she read it all the way through. Ingredients, nutritional information, a small note in the corner about a family farm in a place she had never been. She read every word. And then she set the box down and put her face in her hands and cried in a way she had not cried in 30 years. Not from sadness, from the specific joy of a door that you thought was locked forever, swinging suddenly open. At 70, she read her first novel. She stayed up past midnight. She had never done that before, not for a book. At 71, she wrote a letter to her daughter, by hand, with words she chose herself. Her daughter called the next morning, crying, not quite knowing why, only that something in the letter felt different from every message her mother had ever sent before. More like her, more completely her. At 73, Miriam stood up at a community meeting, the kind of meeting she had attended for decades, always sitting near the back, always listening, never speaking, because speaking meant someone might ask her to read something. She stood up, she picked up a document, and she read from it, out loud, in public, for the first time in her life. Her voice was steady. When Yara was old enough to understand, she asked her grandmother, "Weren't you angry that nobody taught you, that you had to carry it so long, that the world made it so easy for you to hide?" Miriam sat with the question for a long time, the way she sat with things now, fully, without rushing toward an answer. Then she said, "No. I thought about being angry. I tried it on a little. It didn't fit. What I felt, what I still feel, is glad." A pause. "I was just glad there was still time." She read every day from the age of 67 until she was 91. She never missed a day. Not one. Because she understood, in a way that people who have always been able to read sometimes forget, that the ability to read is not a small thing. It is a door into every room that human beings have ever thought in. And she had 24 years to walk through as many as she could. She made everyone count. Here is what Miriam's story means. It is never too late to learn the thing you have been afraid to admit you don't know. The door is not locked. It was never locked. You just had to be ready to knock.